Alright, back again, and I apologize for my earlier deception while calling the earlier stream the build stream, because I did not expect to give another 40 minutes of background, but I did, and I do, and I probably will again in the future for future builds. Maybe I'll learn my lesson and make the first one labeled just as background to begin with, but probably not, and I'll have to edit them again. Anyway, so actually building it, so the TLDR from the last stream, if you didn't view it, which I don't fault you for, is I am in the process of building stuff so that I can build cyclones for a build, and I decided that the best cabin for the job is going to be the Nova. So what I'm going to be doing in this stream is going to be building it, minus the cyclones, as those of you with a keen eyesight will probably note that, again, I do not currently own any of the cyclones, but just getting the base frame down. So for those who saw the earlier Tarantula build update, I congratulate you for your ability to withstand me talking for like an hour and a half. But in any case, and especially because I fucked it up again and had the video paused. But in any case, I've done a couple of spiders in the past before. So this is the oldest one I had, which is an autocannon one, and once I get the Stillwind, if they come down to a manageable price, or if I decide to even get them at all, I'm probably going to try and slot them in here and place the Whirlwind and see if they fit. But basically this was just a way too many legged spider build, designed for mobility and long-range sniping. Likewise, I made a alternative version of that with increased mobility, a la the slide spider, which I also need to update but haven't done yet, which runs on big rams and the augers. So rather than just being able to move at the, was it like 55, 50 kph of the other legs, these guys can go all the way up. I want to say 65, although I might be wrong about that. Why you need to go so fast on a sniper build, I don't know. Will you ever actually be able to go that far on a stretch of road at once without being interrupted? I don't know. But in any case, it does have a higher, top max speed of the other one, but obviously uses less legs. And I think also has less armor, but I keep forgetting about that. In any case, have 2 spider builds already beforehand. The other one actually had more armor. So basically there's no reason to use this one, other than the nostalgia of me finishing my original epic autocannon challenge with that. But in any case, I'm going to look at making another spider, and I'm also going to use big rams for this as a result of the Nova cabin being able to go 80 kph compared to the step spiders easily 60. So yeah, so to start with, I'm gonna do this. Slap the cabin down. Now, interestingly, the Nova, much like the cockpit cabin, has a little nook at the back in which you can hide things. And conveniently, this nook is 8 wide, which means I'm going to yeet a gas gen in there. So I kind of alluded to this in the prior stream as for why I am going to only be running one RN seal, i.e. not run the Apollo and instead run the gas gen. So part of that reason is because this is protected quite well there. Additionally, I don't have another RN seal, so at best I'd just be running a fused additional radiator or cooler, or like having to pick up an RN seal or a shiver, whatever, or run an engine for plus max mass and power, so probably just the Colossus. But the Apollo is significantly heavier, so this is 144 mass, this is 1152 mass. It only gives me 1 additional energy point. It is a larger target. It is, like I said, a lot heavier, which is already a potential concern on a build which isn't technically truly a heavy cabin build. Once again, more on that in the prior build. And again, there's just a very convenient nook in which I can't really hide anything else because the main point of this is to use it in, you know, raids. I don't have a whole lot of reason to slap in like fuel tanks in there, for instance. So I don't really have any reason to leave the Nook empty, because the only other option is just slap in armor, which I don't like. So anyway, so I'm going to do that. I did have ye old, I never broadcast this or posted it or anything, did have ye old method of putting armor on, which involves filling the shape something like that on either side, obviously. And then like that. Just gonna move that just so you can see. So that works, but interestingly, now that I have the extremely hot and sexy rear covers phantom part, the most durable 2x1x6 part in the game, to my knowledge, that isn't a bumper. What I just did is basically invalidated, because this bad boy, the rear cover, is 48 durability, and this part by itself is 46. So this 46 plus 12 is only 58 total durability in 2 parts, and I can achieve 48 durability plus 23 durability, so I'm able to get like 70-ish. On this side, it still takes 2 parts. In my eyes, it looks a lot better. It doesn't push out the shield any further, which is kind of a concern generally with the hitbox. And, you know, it's more durable, so I don't really have any reason not to do this, so I am going to just do that instead. So as you may note, that actually brings it, you know, covers up this back that was left open by the gas gen being centered, so that is the reason why for that. I am also going to slap on a Cyclone. I'm honestly not 100% sure where that's going to go at this stage. So 2 Cyclones, Aurora, which is probably going to sit up on top of the cabin just because it's going to be out of the way. Let's see. And then for other modules, I will have an RN Seal, which doesn't really sit pretty anywhere here, as well as a Hot Red. Now, disclaimer, I did get up till this point when I realized, oh hey, I should probably be streaming this, because lamau, why not? That way I don't have to do a text post video in the future about the build, if I decide to do it. So this is, yeah, basically, I've deceived you again. And I actually got to this point beforehand, but I'm just explaining my thought process and doing it in line. No. So what I decided to do is just basically make a little brick of modules like that. I'm going to turn it like that for the aesthetic. And then I just delete all this and start streaming it. I do also have the option of, like, I could put the RN Seal flat and then put frames like around this, obviously probably just the 2x4s or whatever, around the RN Seal and just have it embedded in the frames, but like this works, and it's a nice easy size of 2x2x4, which is, that's bad math, 2x4x4, which is a lot easier to work with than if I had this thing turned sideways and centered and had the RN Seal somewhere else. Then it'd be 2x3x4, and then I'd have to use APC hard modules, kind of like that, and the part looks better off as an exterior piece rather than interior armor, and just so much work. So anyway, so I figured that this is probably going to be the better way to go about doing it. Plus now I don't have to split frames, I can continue using 8x4s, except I am going to do them like that instead, so I have both of them directly attached to the cabin. Admittedly, I'm not even sure what the end like size or shape of this is going to be. I do know, of course, the more stuff that I have poking out in front, the further ahead the Nova's shield is pushed, and so of course I want to refrain from doing that as much as possible, so probably going to end up making it crab-like and wider rather than long. Although admittedly, once again, I can just make it as long back here as I want. But of course, that does make the cyclones a little bit harder to aim at stuff on the ground level, especially because they are rather chunky and are going to already make the build rather wide. So we're probably going to do a crab cosplay. Just like the devs intended. I did make a meme about it, a post about it the other day. Say the other day, it was a while ago. Allow me to enlighten you, oh viewers of the build. There you go, bask in the glory of my shitty meme making. So it's just a screenshot of the YouTube video by PBS Eons called Why Do Things Keep Evolving into Crabs? And it's like, once you get big rams. That's basically what your builds look like. And that is not far from the truth. And especially when I'm making the Cyclone build, and like I said, I'm probably going to end up doing something like that. So, yeah, it's actually interesting because I'm not going to pretend that I'm the first person who, like, thought of doing this. And I am going to make sure the video is still playing. Haha. But there is like a distinct lack of people in the exhibition who are using Nova Cyclones, and I don't know why that is, because it seems like pretty obvious option. There's also all this like for Cyclone bullshit. But like I said, a lot of step spiders. So as I went over in the last one, I think the step spider was kind of like the meta choice for extremely heavy, high DPS builds in the past. So this might just be like a mainstay from that. From, you know, there just haven't been builds that have gotten 900 likes or so to get back up to this stage with like a Nova cabin. So you saw two step spider ones, 5 junk like for coin builds, and then just like a little artsy one. So I'm not really counting that against, you know, the spider build not being a Nova, because it's also not a step spider. What is this? Another art build based off of it being a sprinter cabin. Humpback. I'm gonna assume step spider. Nope, humpback again. I know this is the beholder for sure because it keeps popping up. Step spider, step spider. Yeah. So lots of not Nova cabins. Now, if I search Nova, and mind you, these are all, what, 400 upvotes or more, other than these ones, which are in the high 300s still. So if I search for Nova Cyclone builds, the highest one is 130, which is a hover, and it is running a 3 Cyclone build. So again, not exactly what I'm looking for. A art one, which seems like it would be kicked around ridiculously by its recoil. It actually doesn't do too bad. I presume it's partly due to the slope. Oh god, maybe the autocannons just don't kick a whole lot. I thought they did. Let's see. Double Cyclone. Double cap cannon, interesting. There's a spider, but it's only running 1. And then a flamethrower for some reason. Tracks. Why would you do that? I don't get it. Mixing a Cyclone and an Arbiter. Like, it kind of makes sense, but also not. I feel like this would be useful if you're doing the trial for autocannons and machine guns. Otherwise, I don't like this. But hey, I guess you have enough energy for it, so why the fuck not? But really, just use an Aurora instead. Anyway, so basically what I'm saying is, if I keep narrowing down the parts I'm looking for, which is namely also in Aurora, now we're down to 50 likes for the highest one, and again, attract build, wheeled build, hover build, wheeled build, hover build. And it takes us to the 13 likes category limit before we actually start getting spider builds. It was interesting to me because in my eyes, the big rams are just like the obvious answer for any like autocannon build that you know, values mobility, because being able to move in multiple directions while still being able to move at full top speed seems incredibly useful. That being said, again, I'm looking at this from like a PvE usability perspective. So not to say that, you know, again, they're necessarily the best answer. And I guess arguably too, with the new speed limits on the Icarus, which can go, where's the other one? Which can go up to 80 kph, and you potentially not running an engine. Okay, they are running an engine, so I just don't like what they're doing then. Cool. So in theory, you could run the Icarus 7. With 80 kph, run the Nova cabin, and then run like a hot red engine or whatever, and you still wouldn't really be able to go much faster than 80 kph anyway, and that would kind of make sense, and that'd probably be another option. But A, I don't have the Icarus 7, I only have the lane Icarus. B, again, being able to have more durable parts, having better tonnage per mass on a already rather heavy build. Fun fact, did the math on the spreadsheet, and the hovers are the worst tonnage per power score as well, which means they're great for inflating your power score. Definitely not a mark of them being OP cough. And then, you know, being able to still zoom around at max speed, although admittedly only in one direction. So if I also slap on the big rams, these are basically the 4 main components of the build, and again we see a very small pool. Very quickly we see a tower for raids. Excellent. Somebody else has the same thought process as me. Use them in raids, baby. Look at that tankiness. Delicious. Big spider. Big spider. Spider. Wow. Alright, that seems terribly inefficient mass use, but alright. Yeah, there we go. So these are my people. Except, like I said, and that's literally it. I'm pressing right trigger. That's it. That's all the builds we have. That's it for published. There's 9 published Big Ram, Aurora, Nova, Cyclone builds. So again, not the first person by far, but we are adding to the very small pile of people who have decided to do so thus far. I really like the look of this. That actually makes sense why it has 5 downloads already. That looks like it's probably about as smart as you're going to be able to get for placement of stuff. Although I do dislike how it's not directly attached to the cabin, because I am a purist like that. Although admittedly, I don't think any of these have the cyclones directly attached to the cabin. Interesting. I'm gonna have to see if that's actually feasible, because that's what I was planning on doing. So anyway, I was thinking, big problem with running the big rams, quote unquote problem, air quotes, is on top of them pushing the front forward significantly, which makes me big sad, especially because if you look at the angle, it doesn't, the big ram doesn't actually cut it off, but whatever. Especially if I even go like back further. To go like there-ish before it like stops blocking it. But in any case, the you can flip it that way. It pushes it forward a little bit. You can put it back there. It doesn't push it forward at all, but obviously that looks dumb. Anyway, so one of the disadvantages of the big rams, which doesn't have to do with pushing the shield forward, which is me just being unnecessarily particular about min-maxing stuff that doesn't really matter when I'm fighting bots, is the build is very high off the ground. In fact, this is the highest off the ground you can get once you turn it into lake mode. So this is obviously going to be very difficult to attack anything directly underneath me. And that is not good in raids because there are lots of enemies. So I have a couple of ways of getting around that. I can do the same thing I sort of did with the slide spider, which was slap an auger, make grinder underneath, which is kind of only like a partial solution. Or what I can do is undermount weapons. So what I was thinking of is maybe slapping the cyclones underneath. Although that does run into a lot of issues with being able to fight effectively on sides. because obviously the legs are going to be getting, especially when it literally doesn't want to rotate into that top right corner, front right corner. But if I can get it playing nice, or if I just make a super fat crab build, that might work. And or use the auger, and basically if I use the auger, it kind of prevents me from doing the weapons underneath because of the whole, you know, weapons being underneath the thing. But I guess I could make a pretty fat one. Although, and mind you, if I do run the meat grinder instead of, say, an additional leg or dos, then I do run into some issues too, where I don't have any redundant legs. If they knock off a single one of these puppies, I am going to be severely hurting for my ability to stay and right side up. So that's a consideration. Haven't totally thought through what the solution is to it yet. Honestly, I'm really leaning towards literally just making a fucking crab build. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. I am literally going to cosplay a crab. That's not literally. I am going to effectively make this a crab cosplay. Can you cosplay animals? I don't know, but if I can, that's what I'm going to do. And because I'm going to be using so many goddamn frames, I am probably better off using a lot of lightweight ones. But that is something to optimize down the road rather than right now. Something like... There you go, that's kind of crab-like. Now maybe, because the legs are so far to the side, nope, still blocks it. God damn it. But maybe these are less likely to get shut off. Although I am definitely blocking off like entire lanes due to how thick it is. But hey, look at that, the Nova shield is basically like the correct width of the build. So this could work. Could slap the Nova, or I could slap the Cyclones underneath. They'd have a pretty wide firing angle. I'd also have the Aurora on the roof, where like I said, it's a little bit more protected. Alternatively, I could put the Aurora underneath, but I don't like that just because it's really, really fragile. And if things get underneath my build, then they are going to hurt it a lot more than they're going to hurt a 550 health legendary autocannon. Especially because since the Aurora doubles damage, this is effectively worth 2 Cyclones. When I have 2 Cyclones, and it's worth 1 Cyclone when I have 1 Cyclone, and in any case, half of the durability of a regular Cyclone for 1 to 2 Cyclones of damage is not a very good trade-off, or something I particularly care to want to risk. So, yeah, how's the approximate cost? Does this take into account the Nova? Because I feel like the Nova is almost like $9 grand just by itself. It'd be really dumb if it literally doesn't take into account fused items. This is a very bad estimate, I gotta say. Why would you not include, like, the most expensive thing? What's an example? What else do I have that's fused? That, okay, so if I slap the whirl on, you're telling me that okay, so here's the secret to building wealth, guys. Don't use fused items because they don't count in your inventory for when you're trying to flex on people. Anyway, if I make my seems like it could work. Feel like it could work. Honestly, I feel like this is going to go a lot better than at any rate, too. Okay, so I could even... What did I just get rid of? Weird, okay. I'm going to have to update the stream as well, called the Cyclone Crab. Crab Cyclone, the CrabClone. I don't know. In any case, maybe I could also slap on the meat grinder. Which way do I like better? Later, and I slap on an auger and I cry because it's either not centered or it's sticking out the butt. Actually, how far can I put this ahead without it? Okay. And because of the big rams being in the way, I can put it pretty far in front without it interfering with the nose shield, which is nice, so I can center it. I was worried that doing this would look dumb, which it does, so centering it is. This could work. I've got maxed out, maxed out tonnage, right? Yeah. I mean, it still looks dumb, but you know, whatever. Let's see. Could get away with 6x4 frames. I don't think it needs to be this wide. And I have a lot more 6x4. Also answers the question of which way to orient these. Let's see, do I like that width more? I do, but it raises some questions as far as the Cyclone's ability to fit underneath. So I feel like I should be centering the grinder part of the grinder rather than the frame part of the grinder. So in theory, it would actually look like shifted one over, so right, but now of course it's off center, so I can make the frames on this side 6 wide, and then I can make these ones the 8 bys, and let's see. So I'm gonna want the auger to be dependent on the 8x frame, and if it's oriented like this, it's dependent on 2 frames, and if I orient it like this, it's dependent on 3 frames, or rather it can be linked on by one of these 3 frames, but if I lose that frame, that one's falling anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. If I lose that frame, I lose the leg. If I lose that frame, I lose the leg and the middle, and if I do like that and I lose that frame, I just lose the leg. If I just lose that, then I keep the leg. So lose 2 frames, lose a leg, or lose 1 frame, lose a leg. I like this option better. Excellent. So now that is me doing math bad, so it actually needs to be pointed that way, so that doesn't end up mattering at all. Okay, cool. Still keep the frames like that though. Alright. Got my crab build. Skitter, skitter. Except I'm pretty sure crabs have 6 legs, but I do not have the mass to slap on the Emerald 200. But I will do so momentarily, merely for the funnies. Crab. I actually love the look of this, I'm not gonna lie. Viability wise, it is extremely harmed by me limiting it to 40 kph. It's weird too, because I was going 40 and then I swapped legs and it seemed to decelerate. I guess I just tripped it. Alright, weird. Not viable, sorry guys. Could fit more legs, but have to boop. And then there's no point in using the auger, and then just... God, the difficulties for myself. I might make a fake leg, honestly. Maybe we'll get less tonnage legs at some point, or maybe I'll fuse the cabin for mass, or I'll slap on an Apollo and need more legs. I don't know. I need the legs! I must be a factually correct crab. I have 6 legs. Oh well, that's a problem for someone who had some version of me which has a lot more money and cares about viability a little bit less, and or spends the money to make it a lot more viable. Sad crab walk sounds. Okay, I like this so far. So if I were to have a cyclone, well actually that kind of eats that whole discussion out. But if I can fit the cyclone, one of these bad boys. Boop. Slap one that side. That's not good. I didn't think this through. Perfect. Alright, nobody destroy my 2x4. And we will be super. Well, this is such a bad idea. What's even the point of... Alright, excellent. And then I can slap my cyclones maybe here-ish. I have a sinking feeling they aren't actually going to fit, to be honest. I will not know that until I actually have cyclones that I own, so. Interesting. I thought I had the spiral part of it centered. It looks like it's centered, but it looks like it takes up a different amount of space to the left and to the right of it, in actuality. Or perhaps I'm just bad at math. No, it's because I'm bad at math, because this is centered, yeah, because it's 2 pips from the edge there, and 2 pips from the edge there. No, 1 pip from the edge there, and 2 from there. What? What's going on? Alright, so the important thing to keep in mind is making asymmetrical builds is the devil's work. Okay, that's fine. I can figure out this better in the future, when I actually have the weapons. Yeah. So I'm gonna put some armor. The Aurora's favorite part, the reflector. Pretty much the only armor you can actually put around it. Put that up. I don't like that. Just like that. Boom, bam. Thank you, ma'am. It's looking sleek. It's looking nice. Alright. Alright, alright. We got, what do we got on the front? Maybe put some plows here. Some armor. Nice, nice. Angle it. Like so. There we go. Now we got a little mini armor for the cyclones. And we got some hella armor. And I'm gonna have to figure out a way to make this look good. Maybe we slap some more plows, if that does not obstruct the shield. Very nice, very nice. Alright, yeah. Looks kind of good. Kind of. I guess I could just... honestly do that. Nah, I like this better. Okay. I could move those up. Have to decide on that once I have the actual weapons put down. Which is where I put them if I had them. But alas, I need to wait 13 hours, so we spent the monies to rush that, and then I gotta build them, and then I gotta wait, and I gotta get more batteries and electronics, and doing pretty good from like a mass perspective so far though, methinks. Here's it. If I don't center this, I put a train plow. Wow, that's hot. That is a lot of tanking, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I think we're going with that. And somehow, again, the big rams are blocking the shield more than the train plows located directly below and in front of it. Alright. So now we got our butt sticking out a little bit. Though that does mean I could extend this a bit so I can... Admittedly, this doesn't make it any more viable, but... yeah, whatever, I'll figure that out after. I don't think I want to make the build longer. It's already rather wide. I don't really want to make a box build. But hey, then I can fit more crab legs. I don't think I'll have the mass for filling up all this space with armor, though. It's kind of my chief worry at this moment. That actually looks a lot cooler, although it's attached directly to the train plow, which means if the train plow falls off, then the small plow falls off, which kind of, you know, eradicates the entire point of having the small plow, which is to serve as additional armor. But it looks cool. It looks cool. Sold. Alright, what else do we got? kind of getting a crab shape going on. Mind you, that's not the sole purpose of this build, but it doesn't hurt it. If we can actually get crabby with it. I'm calling it right now though, this is going to cause me so many problems. Probably do that instead though. But then the connector for the cyclone is sitting on the edge. I don't know. To be determined. Probably going to cause me a lot more problems than it's worth though. That would almost be better if I just had that one further out into it though. Ah well. So we just need to find a way to defend the modules. Honestly, logic says I should probably extend it all the way back here, but I don't think I have the mass for that. Let's see what it would look like. Beautiful. That is definitely not the answer. Oh, you know what? Why don't we just make this a little bit more symmetrical? Like that. Go, nice. Kind of works. What are my other options? Very big ones. Like, it works better. I'm still ludicrously overmass once I add the cyclones themselves. But kind of works. Kind of. Where is that red? Alright, we'll see if people in Bedlam accept me as one of their own. I was ridiculously fast. I've never loaded into a Bedlam before. Hopefully the people here aren't mean and they like my crab build as much as people seem to like miscellaneous dumb builds in PC. Hello, friend. Oh, slapping on the auger significantly slows me down. I totally forgot that that was the thing. Whoop. Might have to go with 6 crab leg after all. Plus, why are you running away from me, big truck? I'm trying to be a happy crab friend. Hard to build plus. Notice me. It is one angry little build. So you should leave that guy. There you go, be scared of the big crab. Well, why are you guys ramming into each other? I thought Bedlam was supposed to be chillio. Look, I am a crab. Why must you be so angry all the time? So, you have no say in that. Yeet. Uh-oh. Okay, well, know that I gotta get rid of the auger, unfortunately. But it solves a lot of my fucking issues, so not actually terribly unfortunate. Also mean that I think I'm, what, 1 pip less wide? No, because I just use 8 wides on the side as well. Could, in theory, maybe mount them this far back, but I think they have a 4x4 base, which they do. So I do probably want them mounted there, but I could run like that. Doesn't really solve my issues, does it? That, I guess. Not really a fan, admittedly. does that make me? Fast. Probably not when I'm mouse limit. Okay, so I need to make my backside a bit smaller. Plus that I'm not too worried about things shooting my engine, so I can probably pull a shape kind of like that. Which again kind of falls into the kind of works area, but also not really. I will admit, I'm not sure which. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Alright. This could work. This could work. I am admittedly looking a lot more crab-like. It's more crabby, perhaps. Alright, so the question is, how much do the cyclones weigh? 570, so I need 1140 spare mass, and I have not that much. Less than 1,000. Might have to do it with all the plows on the front, which would make sense because they are technically not very mass efficient for durability. I think this is starting to look pretty darn crab-like though. Just kind of need claws. Admittedly, I have never had this problem before. Whatever, good enough. Now I add some CrabClones. CrabClaws are vertical. Excellent. So just for the record, objects, I feel like taking this seriously. This point, I am merely making a crab to go play with people in Bedlam, and I'm not too worried about how combat effective it is. It is certainly going to be missing the crabby claws for an actual build. Crab. What is a good crab sound? Sounds do they even make like chitter, right? I don't think there's any chitter horn sound. Aha! They can make little chops. Oh, yeah. I am not going to, but I could. Bite. And I kind of want to put a scorpion tail on, but that would be not very useful for the sake of this. I guess I could purchase slot set of 3. I could get the chief engineer hologram because it shows a red face and pretend that it is the face, or I can put up some eyes. Dang. High prices are cheap. Very nice. Let's see, do I want angry eyes? Probably not. I want angry red face. It's kind of like a crab face, right, guys? Even having a storage. Well, who cares? Time time for crab. Kind of works. Is that 180-ish health? Could slap some of these down there though. A lot heavier though. My little crab butt. Beautiful. Now I go walking. What, technically 90 kph if I max out? 89, 90. Takes the longest time to get there though. 89-ish. So unfortunate that shows me the leg movement speed here. Is not useful. Just show me real max speed. Oh, I guess it's dependent on the cabin. Yeah, but still, they show me it's 120 kph normally. 80, 10 is another 8, 3. Yeah, so it should be 90 if I can find a long enough round to accelerate. Let's go see if I can make some Bedlam prints. I have one exhibition slot remaining, so I can probably slap the... that's a lot of killing, guys. You sure you don't want to drive like a crab instead? Crabs only walk sideways? I do not know. But I'm sure people will understand what I am going for if they see me walking sideways. Oh, you poor spider. Hello, are you friendly, armored riot? Behold, I am crab friend. Phenomenal. Truly a place where we can all come together and enjoy crab. I'm trying to see what I have, sir. I'm a crab. As much fun as you are, Mr. Right. I must go. Oh! I must go make other friends. So this is good though, because I do have one exhibition slot remaining, and this fucking Mimi build definitely can stick up on exhibition, and then once I actually have the cyclones built in a day or two, well, I guess 2 days-ish, 50 some hours from now, I can just download it. Hello friends, I am Crab. I must watch your lance. No, no, no. Sorry, I did not mean to step on your balloon. How many? Oh, do you have more lances in there? What am I looking at? Those gremlins? Like this is not very kind of you, Mr. Who's shooting at me? Very mean now. I think my stays not work. Justice for the crab. Excellent. So I'm going to consider this a stunning success, if for no other reason than 4 people said hi to me in the crab build. So I'm going to call this done until I get the cyclones, then I can obviously slap on the Aurora. But I need the chief engineer. Oh well, I will wait until I have it, and then I will post it, and it'll be glorious. And in the meantime, I hope you found this entertaining. Hopefully in the near or far future I can actually